for the football. For the city and the back roads. Got a whole county full of them goats. All from the football and that goat. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah. So let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva. Them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmerton and Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really doubt it. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them. Yeah, and kinda got flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. It's for the football. It's for the football. It's for the football.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to the Crow's Nest. It is week 7 already. I can't believe we have flew through this season as quickly as we have. But, you know, week 6 was full of primetime games, big-time players making big-time plays. Some scores went exactly as you thought they were going to go. Some scores went the opposite way. But a lot of guys made their name known as we're really, you know, in the heart of conference play out here. Whether you're talking about the CVC Lake or the NAC Conference, those are the two primary ones out here. Everybody is starting to make noise, and I don't think any of those conferences are locked in yet, as a lot of different pieces, a lot of teams took some losses that you didn't think were going to take a loss. A lot of teams got some wins that you didn't think they were necessarily going to get. I'll tell you what, one of the guys who had himself a heck of a Friday was Conneaut's own Colby Stiltner. He's going to be our Week 6 player of the week after a 5-touchdown night. The Conneaut Spartans have to go on the road to Jefferson and find themselves a win, and they do exactly that, and that is in with a big push and a big help from our Week 6 player of the week, Colby Stiltner. Come on to the show. All right, Colby, welcome to the show, man. You know, we looking at some of these stats from Friday night, you know, 3 touchdowns in the air, 2 on the ground. You really had yourself a night. How did it feel to go out there on Friday night and things were really moving in the right direction?
Well, first of all, it felt like a revenge game going out there at Jefferson on their homecoming night after our homecoming night last year at home. So we really wanted to get the win done there. And, I mean, I didn't even really realize I was getting those 5 touchdowns and all those good stats until the game was over. And
I'll tell you what, man, that's spoken like a true quarterback. Your mind is so in the game, right, that the stats don't matter. Coach Dobrin will tell you later how well you did. All you cared about what that big board was saying. But, you know, it was a back-and-forth affair. It was a tight game. It was, you know, Ashtabula County football really in its essence. And you talk about the get-back game, you know, Jefferson spoiling your homecoming and you guys spoiling theirs. You know, it wasn't – you guys haven't really had the start that you would have wanted this year. But over the last 2 weeks, you know, you guys have really gotten the ball rolling and getting to that 500 record. What's been different over the last 2 weeks?
Well, you know, going into Lutheran West, it was a team that we knew we could beat. Mm-hmm. So I think we had the momentum in that week's practice. And then next week, which was Jefferson now, and – you know, we just really wanted to get back at Jefferson, so I feel like we got momentum going into this year now after West Geauga and Mineral Ridge. Those 2 losses, those were tough losses, so having the momentum going into Geneva now is definitely really good.
Yeah, so, you know, you talk about those losses, and there were some really early season losses, not necessarily on paper, but just to the team. You know, as a quarterback, you lost one of your primary targets, one of the biggest and baddest tight ends in the county in Ryan Turner. Yep. But, you know, you have found a way to make the plays with some of your guys. Talk about some of your receivers who have really helped you along this year.
Well, really, I mean, they're all just great players, you know. I feel like they can all be receiver ones on every team in this county, you know. And I got my wideout receivers when Devontae Harris and Brady Vera, and then my slots I got Kason Hayes, I got Louis Cedino and Alden Gooch, who joined in a little late. But, you know, they're all great and they do their part perfectly.
Yeah, and you talk about the veterans out there, right? In Harris and Brady Vera in particular, who are kind of some veteran guys, have gotten some burn over the last couple years. And then you talk about a youngster in Luis Cedeno who has come out, and I'll tell you what, he is one of the most dangerous receivers we have out here.
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, and it's really good with Devontae Harris and Brady Vera and Alden Googe. Those guys were sophomores playing last year, and usually, sophomores, you're playing JV, and we had a really young team last year, so they got that varsity playing time, and they're used to it. So I think that really helps them with this year.
Yeah, as a quarterback, you're a leader in that regard, but also as a senior coming into this year. And this is a Conneaut Spartans program that you have been a part of since your freshman year, playing the quarterback position. You know what quarterback means. You know what it means to be the guy with the ball in your hand every play in Conneaut. What was different coming into this senior year?
Well, I mean, it felt like a failure going 2-8 last year. So I came into this season thinking, you got to step things up. You got to be more of a leader, because there wasn't much leadership last year with the seniors, and I felt like, it's you. I'm the guy. I have to make a change. So I feel like, leadership's definitely key to being a good quarterback. And I brought the other senior leaders with me along with it, and we're going along pretty good.
I think it's real easy to talk about the passing game this year, especially after that game. You really had yourself an incredible night. But the running game in Conneaut has been phenomenal this year, and that's thanks in large part to a guy in Isaiah Bowles.
Yeah, Bowles he's a dude, He's a dude. You just give him the rock, and he just finds the holes, and he makes it work.
How does that help you as a quarterback, having a running back that these linebackers really have to pay attention to?
Mm-hmm. makes the passing lanes 10 times easier, So thanks to him, I get a lot more passing yards, passing receptions, and all that. So that's a lot to him.
Yeah, and over over your career and over this season, everybody has struggles, whether you talk about the stats or not. But what have you done to overcome those, or do you just treat last week's game like last week's game and look at this week as I can always get better?
I don't really like to look at the stats. I mean, if you have a good game, obviously you like to look at it. But I feel like stats tend to get in the way. And then you try to force passes, force completions, try to bump up your stats. But really, it's a game. Everybody's here to play. You're not everybody's going to play for the stats. You're trying to play for the win. So, however gets you the win, you'll be happy with it.
I'll tell you what, that's excellent. That is an excellent way to look at it. Stats are cool, but the wins are really what matter. And that's, I'm sure Coach Dobrin is smiling over there knowing he's got a quarterback that as long as we win, he doesn't care how we get there. At Conneaut, obviously, a lot of multi-sport athletes, guys who have to find different ways to give to the school athletics. So what are some other sports you play?
I play baseball.
Baseball. So, I think it's an easy question. Yeah. But, as a baseball player and as Conneaut's quarterback, how do you think that's helped you?
Well, yeah, I think it definitely made a change in this year because this is my first year playing baseball since, middle school.
Wow.
And it really brought my athleticism back, I'd say, keeping me athletic and moving during my off season. And then, in the mornings and all that, when I would be doing football stuff, I'd go afternoon after school, go to baseball, and I'd keep moving, doing all that stuff. So, yeah.
So when you talk about the pressure, right? There's always pressure every time you get on the field, but as a senior, it builds up, and especially as a quarterback, what do you do to deal with that pressure? Because a lot of the times, I'll tell you what, I haven't seen you shook up too often.
Yeah, I think that's a big difference from me last year and this year. The pressure sort of got to me, and I feel like I went into this year with a different mindset. Pressure's going to be there. All eyes are on you at quarterback.
It's true.
You just gotta ignore it and push through it. Because you got the whole team on your back and you got to play for them.
And you talk about the whole team on your back, but when you're playing for the Spartans and you're a Conneaut guy, you seemingly have the entire city on your back. What is it like going out there to? I'm probably going to get the name wrong. I think it's Riccardi Field. Or Jocelyn Field.
You're asking the wrong guy. I'm not even sure.
Listen, it's Riccardi or Jocelyn, and one is the field, one is the stadium. Yeah. But when you go out there and it's seemingly everybody in Conneaut is in the stands, what's it like as the quarterback when that place is rocking, there's bonfires, and people are going.
Yeah, it's nice just running out on that field with our band playing, and you look up in the stands and you see your family, friends, and the whole entire city's behind your back rooting for you guys, and that's how you just know you got a pull out more wins for these guys. So yeah.
So, one of the things that Conneaut has that is, I think, a shining example of the community is the youth, right?
Mm-hmm.
You talk about the junior high program and the youth program. How much involvement, if any, do you have with the younger guys?
Well, I try going to as much middle school games as I can and stuff. And whenever I see those the little guys on the field or on the sideline during a game, I always try to talk to them and stuff. And I don't know, just talk to them about football and how's it going and all that. So try to keep up.
I'll tell you what, I think that matters more than you realize, because a lot of the time when you're talking to some of these younger guys, you were a youngster at one point. You were the young Spartan running around. These high school guys, you guys feel like NFL players to them. Like you guys are their heroes. But what are some words of advice that you would have for maybe some of the younger guys coming up, whether they want to be a quarterback or just make a difference for the Spartans?
Play for someone, Like I feel like I got to play for the whole town of Conneaut and stuff. So I like to think that I'm a role model for all those young kids, and I want to do good and have them someone to look up to and think about when they get older. And hey, I want to be like Colby Stiltner. He was such a good player back then. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'll tell you what, and there are guys out there that are watching this right now, or they might watch it later on, and they're going to want to emulate you. But as for you, Colby, what are some of your plans? In your senior year, I know we're still in the baby stages, but what are you planning to do after June?
I don't know.
That's all right. That's all right,
yeah.
man. Listen, we're up in the air, whether that's school, football, baseball, whatever it is. You still got a whole year to enjoy here. But, ultimately, when people remember you, Colby, as a Spartan, what's something you're hoping when they talk about Colby Stiltner they're going to say?
Hoping to say I was a good guy, a good influence. I just hope it's nothing bad.
I'll tell you what. I don't think that they would have anything bad, because I've gotten the pleasure and the honor of watching you kind of grow and evolve as a quarterback, and seeing you as that freshman out here to the senior year. Tons of evolution. But what is the one thing you think is different from you now compared to that freshman year?
First off, the size. I was the smallest kid in my class. I was walking around the halls. People were just pushing me out the way. They didn't even see me. So that's definitely a big difference. And then, I don't know, just mentality. My freshman year, I just felt like a smaller guy. Didn't really have much of a vocal strength. And now now my senior year, it's a big difference from when I was younger. So, yeah.
Was there a particular moment that clicked where it's like, I'm not the little guy anymore? Like, this is me?
I'd say my sophomore going into my junior year, I was still small, and I started, hitting the gym a little bit more, because I was like, I'm going to be playing varsity my junior year, and if I get hit by a big guy, I'm down, so I got to hit the weight room.
I'll tell you what, that's a smart way to do it, because especially, people talk about how important it is to those guiding years as a freshman and sophomore, but when you go out there on Friday night and there's this 6'6", 250, 260 guy, it makes those weights come a lot more alive, don't they?
Yeah, it's a big difference from JV.
So what are you hoping to get done, and what are some of the things you're looking to get accomplished before the end of this year?
Well, I just want to have a good time my senior year, just time goes by fast, so you're going to live it up as much as you can. And I think our whole team goal is beat Edgewood this year, so yeah.
Listen, this is my favorite part of the year, and I'm going to tell you why, guys. Anybody who's watched this show, anybody who saw us from the beginning, I'm the ultimate homer, and I love Ashtabula County football. And one thing I love more than Ashtabula County football is rivalries. And, I don't know if you know this or not, but Edgewood and Conneaut is the oldest living rivalry left in the county.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely heard stories about the past and rivalry there, so definitely trying to carry that on heading Edgewood.
Well, I'll tell you what, you are carrying it on. I can't wait to see it this year, but I'll tell you what, as for last Friday, the man of the hour, the man of the week was Conneaut's Colby Stiltner with 5 touchdowns. Congratulations on a great week, and good luck in the future, my friend.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn. Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors. With our combined 80 years of experience, WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats. Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Nestled here in the beauty and splendor of Mill Creek Metro Parks are two of America's best golf courses, as selected by Golf Week magazine. Ranked number 9 in Ohio by TripAdvisor. Come play like a pro on these award-winning Donald Ross-designed courses. Enjoy a round with your kids and unwind with your favorite food and drinks in the grill room. For championship golf, look no further than your backyard. Mill Creek Golf Course.
Oh, let's get that fixed. All right, everybody, welcome back here, and it's week 7 right here at the Crow's Nest. I want to start this second segment off, as I always do, and that's putting a huge thank you out to the Detour family for hosting us here each and every week in this beautiful, beautiful restaurant here at the Crow's Nest. You know, excellent food, loaded potato soup, cheese, shrimp toast, stromboli, chicken and waffles, all kinds of great specials tonight here. It's one of my favorite places to eat in all of Ashtabula. There's no such thing as a bad meal here at the Crow's Nest. And not only is the food great, the service is great. They have some of the best staff that anybody could ask for. I mean, every time you come here, they're going to take care of you, treat you like family. And, you know, for the adults, there's a great side on the other side where you can get a couple beverages, all kinds of TVs. You don't have to miss any games. It's going to be right here. I'll tell you what, this is a place I know I'm going to find myself during that Ohio State-Michigan game that's coming up very, very soon. This is the hottest spot in the county to check it out. So make sure you come over here all the way at the end of Route 11. If you run into the lake, you've gone too far. But right before you get there, it's the Crow's Nest. They do a wonderful job, and I'm so grateful for them. I'm also very, very grateful to Dan Sposito and Sposito Insurance. That sponsorship is another reason why we can do this each and every week, talking about Ashtabula's very, very best. One of the things I was most excited about this year is the fact that we are covering this county as a whole. That's right. All 8 county teams are right here on your home for high school sports. It's ysnlive.com. It's been a phenomenal season. We are in the heart of CVC Lake Division play and the heart of NAC play, and we had all kinds of great games last week. And let's talk about some of those games right now. So we'll start off on the top here. Lakeside falling to the Madison Blue Streaks 21-53. And, you know, I'll tell you what. I know there's a lot of – every week seemingly I talk about how sometimes the scores don't necessarily reflect how close the game truly was. And if you're tired of hearing it, I'm sorry. I'm going to say it again because when it's true, it's true. And this is one of those games where exactly that happened. You know, you go into halftime into this one. Lakeside is down 21-31, and this is an excellent Madison Blue Streaks team. But Lakeside, as they have each and every week, are finding ways to pass the ball and pass the ball effectively. J.J. Murphy, who is now the all-time leading single-season passer for the Lakeside Dragons, had 253 yards in the first half alone. as if 253 yards wasn't enough, he had a moment where he went 12 for 12 on passes, 12 consecutive passes that were completed in this game. Lakeside does everything they possibly can in the first half. And, Madison, to their credit, shut it down in the second half. They come out in the second half. They don't put the ball in the air. They do a much better job of covering the pass. And then it was all James Poe. James Poe goes out there. He is running all over the place, one of the better running backs you're going to see. And Madison did what they do best, and that is follow that big offensive line. That offensive line opens up huge holes. Madison knows they can run behind those guys. It was back to old blue streak football and playing inside of a phone booth, and they're going to come out on top in that one. PV is going to fall to Fairport. Fairport moves on to be 5-0, undefeated in conference play, undefeated on the season. This is a very, very good Fairport team, and this was one of the matchups I think a lot of people had double circled because this was going to tell you what the NAC was going to look like this year. Now, granted, there's still a lot of football left to be played, but PV falls in this one, fighting till the very, very end, 14-19, very, very close. The Lakers are going to fall to 4-2. The Skippers are going to move to 5-0. The next game is the game I had a chance to cover. It was myself and James Westover. Grand Valley falls to 3-3 after a 25-28 loss to the St. John Heralds. St. John moves up to 2-4. This was a game that had a little bit of everything: interceptions, punt returns, special teams. Whatever you needed is what you got in this one. It comes down to the final 38 seconds of this game. Grand Valley was able to score on a couple different pass plays, and they get down to the 9-yard line, 4th and goal. Go to run the pass play. It looked like it was open, but the hero of the night is Milo Twining for the St. John Heralds. He comes back there and just gets enough of the ball to bat the ball down. Bats it down. It's a turnover on downs, and the Heralds get to line up in victory formation, and they take a huge win. And not only just a huge win on the season, but a huge win in the conference in this one, moving to 1-1 in the conference. So 2-4 is where St. John is. And now, St. John has a tough matchup this week as they're going to be taking on a very feisty Wyndham Bombers team on Saturday. I'll be on that call as well. Grand Valley, it doesn't get any easier after last week either, as they get to take on the undefeated Fairport Skippers. So that's going to be a game that, if Grand Valley can get the win, which I think technically right now would go down as an upset, the NAC is wide open. You're looking at 4 teams with one conference loss and still tons of games to be played. So you're going to want to keep a close eye on that game as well. After that, you've got Geneva and Edgewood. And this is another one that the score, it really does not tell you the true story of this game. Now, I will tell you this. Geneva playing at home on Grape Jamboree weekend is not an easy team to beat. It is Geneva's primetime game, the Grape Bowl. And, going into halftime, this one is Edgewood 14, Geneva 14. Edgewood is actually leading in the early parts of this game, scoring early. But when it came down to the end of the game, this was Geneva's will to win and their ability to kind of grind you down, and that's what you're seeing in Geneva, their ability to grind you down. They've got big guys who can make you tired, and once you're tired, that's when they open up that run game. And Bryce Pete has shown himself to be, one of the best players this area has ever seen. You're going to see when we go through the stats, what this kid is really, really doing. But this was a very entertaining game from beginning to end. And then the final one we'll talk about is Jefferson Falcons versus the Conneaut Spartans. Jefferson is hosting them. It's homecoming night. They've got a great passing game. They've got a great running game. They've got a great defense. Conneaut coming off, they're riding high off of an absolutely dominant victory over Lutheran West. They come into this one, 46-21 is the final. Colby Stiltner has himself a night, 5 touchdowns. Isaiah Bowles, another week of over 200 yards rushing. The Spartans came to play, and they're at 3-3. They've got a conference win. The CVC Lake is wide open again, as everybody is looking to probably try to take off Madison. And Conneaut's going to have a chance coming up very, very soon. Jefferson will be taking on Lakeside this week. I'll also be on that call. And Conneaut, I believe, plays Madison this week as well. So a lot of big-time matchups coming up this week. You're not going to want to miss it. I wanted to talk about all of the games coming up this week, but unfortunately I can't get the Week 7 matchups to load up. It's a graphical error, and, I did my best with that one. Sorry about that, guys. But from last week's, we're going to go right into my favorite part of the show. All right, everybody, welcome to the stat leaders here in Ashtabula County. Now, before we get started with the passers, like we always do, let me remind you, these are the stats that I have been provided. These are the stats that I have been provided. Oh, I got all kinds of comments. Let me run through some of these. Oh, happy birthday. Yes. Thank you, guys. I will talk about that at the end of the show. Thank you, Jenny. But we'll let me talk getting back to the defensive stuff. The way our defensive stats are put together is a point system, essentially, that equals your total tackle. It's not the same as what you may see on your locker room, but everybody is run through the same formula. So it is fair, it is balanced, and that is why we do it. Everybody is on the same level. All right, let's get to the passers. Leading the way for the third week in a row is Lakeside's J.J. Murphy. 1,478 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. With that 1,478 yards, J.J. Murphy now becomes the single-season all-time leader at Lakeside. Now, if you guys remember last week, against Orange, he broke 3 other school records for single game by throwing for 388 yards, 27 receptions, and 6 touchdowns. This young man is having himself an absolute year. Right behind him, from one JJ to another, we go to J.J. Murphy with 1,227 yards, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Justin Britton comes up next. He's got 956 yards for the PV Lakers. PV is out there, and they're passing the ball very well. 15 touchdowns for him. Colby Stiltner moving his way up the leaderboard, 932 yards passing. He's got 5 touchdowns. Right behind him is Grand Valley's Nate Stewart with 558 yards. He's got 6 touchdowns. And then it's Jefferson's Mason Khalil with 552 yards, 5 touchdowns. Anthony Benedict from St. John comes up next with 271 yards, 2 touchdowns. Carter Turk, who gets the start on Friday, had himself a night. 19 for 27, 264 yards. He had 3 touchdowns in that one. And Caden Proy from Geneva, they get themselves a passing touchdowns this week. He's got 72 yards and 1 touchdown. Moving right along, we'll go into the rushing leaders. And I'll tell you what, I think this one is going to surprise absolutely nobody. Bryce Pete is leading the way, 97 carries. He's got 1,052 yards and 13 touchdowns. Right behind him, Matthew Webster from Jefferson, 151 carries. He's got 849 yards. He's got 11 touchdowns. Isaiah Bowles from Conneaut comes next on the list. He's got 754 yards and 7 touchdowns. Kason Bailey, he's got 70 carries for 720 yards for the PV Lakers. Caden Proy is next with 70 carries. He's got 553, 10 touchdowns. So that means for Geneva, their starting quarterback and starting halfback account for 23 touchdowns. Absolutely incredible. Chase Newsom from St. John comes up next on the list. He's got 424 yards and 7 touchdowns. J. Anthony Williams from Grand Valley right behind him with 418 and 4 touchdowns. Javen Pope next on the list with 344 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Ricky DePetta from Geneva will fall next with 337 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns. And Grand Valley's Luke Giddings with 336 yards. He's got 8 touchdowns. Next up is going to be our receiving leaders. Leading the way is Pymatuning Valley's Jace Folkman. He's got 520 yards, 27 receptions, 6 touchdowns for him. Making his way up every single week is Terry Brown from Lakeside, 473 yards. He's got 6 touchdowns. Josiah Pope from across the bridge right over at Edgewood. He's got 395 with 4 touchdowns. Devin Salinas from Jefferson remains in 4th with 382. He's got 6 touchdowns on the year. Devin Sanchez from Edgewood, he's got 355 with 4 touchdowns. J. Anthony Williams from Grand Valley, he's got 326 yards, 10 receptions. He's got 3 touchdowns. Jorge Diaz, who has had 2 incredible weeks, 2 weeks in a row, is now making his way up the leaderboard. 20 catches, 309 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns. Matt Wagner, another Lakeside kid, 285 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns. Alex Simon from PV, he's got 283 yards. He's got 6 touchdowns. And Sean Croston over at PV with 243 with 6 touchdowns. Huge jump for Sean last week. All right, now we'll talk about the tackle leaders as we've talked about it. Solo tackles, 1 point. Assist, half a point. TFL, an extra point. A sack is worth an extra point. That's going to give you your total tackle number. And leading the way is Conneaut's Chetty Arcaro with 57.5 tackles on the year. He is going to be the leader in another category coming up very, very soon. Right behind him is Pymatuning Valley's Sean Croston with 54. Geneva's Ricky DePetta with 52. Bryce Pete getting it done on the defensive side as well with 50 tackles. Brody Dietrich, he's got 44 tackles for Jefferson. Josh Sabo for Conneaut has 42.5. Right behind him is Mason Thor with 36.5. Tyree Anderson with 35.5. And there are 6 players tied with 34 total tackles going into week 7. TFL leaders, and this is what I was talking about. Chetty Arcaro from Conneaut leads the way with 13 tackles for loss. Right behind him is Sean Croston with 9. Kason Bailey from PV also with 6. Jacob Clemens from Geneva making his first name on the boards this week with 6 TFLs. Mason Thor remains there at 5. Ricky DePetta from Geneva, he's got 5. Max Smith from Pymatuning Valley, he's got 4. Carter Beck from St. John, he's got 4. And we've got 8 players tied with 3 tackles apiece, or 3 TFLs apiece. And we get to the sack leaders this week, and leading the way is Muscles Marinera from St. John, Carlo Fasano. He's got 6 sacks on the year. Right behind him, Luca Raymore with 4 from Grand Valley. Mason Thor with 3 from Edgewood. Jacob Clemens from Geneva making his way again to another leaderboard. He's got 3. Jeremiah Coral, he's got 2. Tied with Braden Stark from Geneva, who's also got 2, and Jefferson's Brody Dietrich with 1.5 tackle or 1.5 sacks. And finally, last but not least, our interception leaders. We got a lot of people with some interceptions in this one. J. Anthony Williams, he's got 4 leading the way for Grand Valley. Jace Folkman has 3 right behind him. Gus Petros with 2, and both of those are pick 6s for St. John. Carter Beck also has 2. Tied with Beck and Petros is Baldwin from Edgewood. Riley Baldwin, the Slim Reaper, with 2. Devin Salinas from Jefferson, he's got 2. Nick Vendetti from Conneaut has 2. And Ricky DePetta from Geneva also with 2 interceptions. Worth noting, right now, 11 other players with 1 interception in the county this year. It is not safe to throw that ball in Ashtabula. That is for sure. So lots of great games coming up this week. I'll get to some of these comments now. My wife telling me happy birthday, and my dear friend Jenny telling me happy birthday as well. Yes, today is my 39th birthday, and some people would say, what are you doing working on your birthday? And I think the simple and the easy answer is I'm doing what I love. I can't think of a place that is better for me to be on my birthday than out here talking about these kids right here in Ashtabula County. This is one of my biggest passions. It's one of my favorite things to do is highlight the kids from this area. And one of the things I'm most thankful for in my 39 years of life is getting this chance Thank you, Lucas. Thank you. Is getting a chance to highlight and do something I love each and every single week. It's the highlight of my week. There's a lot of work that goes into this, including getting the stats and you know, trying to get everywhere and get the interviews. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, they say if you're doing what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, and I have yet to have to work at doing this. It's one of my favorite things. My you know, giving out these players of the week and showing how great our kids right here in Ashtabula County. Thank you, Marco. Showing how great our kids in Ashtabula County truly are. I couldn't think of anything I would rather be doing. So to everybody that took time out to wish me happy birthday, I want to tell you thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I can't wait to see, you know, for 39 years, I can't wait to see what the next 39 brings, God willing. It's been a great run so far, and I can't wait to see where we're going here in the future. Lots of things are growing. You know, whether it's the football coverage right here in Ashtabula, the play, the talent, things like the combine have grown each and every year, and it's something I'm most proud of, not for me, but for what we can get accomplished right here in Ashtabula. And thank you, Heidi. Thank you so much. One of the things I've gone back and forth on is a final thought for tonight. There's been a lot going on in the county. There's been a lot going on in football over this last week, over this last 6 weeks. I love this game. I love this sport. I love high school athletics. I love the fact that we've got kids who are going out there and giving their all each and every week. What I don't like is how nasty it can get sometimes. And that's one of the things, as my final thought, I'm going to hope if you guys can give me any sort of a birthday present, it's going to be that. Remember just that. These are kids. This is a high school game. Sometimes things don't go the way you want them to go, whether it's a game or anything like that. But when it gets to the point where you're starting to take the fun out because of how nasty things can get, you're taking a step in the wrong direction. These kids deserve better than what that brings. I'm not going to get on a huge horse, and I'm not going to go too far into detail, but what I am going to say is always remember that at the end of the day, we're all trying to push these kids in the right direction. And we have to remember that as adults, that's where we need to be. Even if we don't agree with the way the game went or how this happened or how that happened, we always have to remember that the kids are going to look to us and they're going to follow our lead. So always remember that in everything you do. I fall short sometimes. I understand that, but all we can do is ask to get better. That's my final thought for tonight. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. I am looking so forward to see what Week 7 has to bring us right here in Ashtabula County. Make sure you guys tune in on, I believe it's going to be Friday this week for the Lake Show 2.0. Check out the Zoo Crew out there in Andover with George and Chad doing a phenomenal job highlighting those Laker kids. I'm really, really glad to see what's going on with those guys. They do a wonderful job. Make sure you guys tune in on Thursday for zone coverage. I'll be joining DJ Yoakley and Greg McAfee this week. We're heading to Louisville. For all the picks, you're going to get to hear all my picks for the week on that show. So make sure you tune in. All those things happening right here on your home for high school sports, ysnlive.com. Make sure you go over there for the stories, your scores. We're your one-stop shop. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Thanks so much for everything you guys have done all throughout this entire journey. Thank you to the Detour family. Thank you to the Sposito family. And most of all, thank you, Ashtabula, for each and every week helping me to push this forward. My name is Sam Torres, and now and forever, this is for the 440.
This for the fofo. This for the fofo. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the fofo, and them ghosts. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmerton and Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Falcon. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewell got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating no dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really bout it, yeah. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them, yeah. And Connie, I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the fofo. This for the fofo. This for the fofo.